Today we are installing treated deck boards on our utility trailer, and for those who don't know me, hi, my name is Jacob and I am on a journey to financial freedom. And now we're actually installing these deck boards because we just recently started to launch our own business, Journey's Junk Removal and Hauling, and we need to prep this trailer, that way we can go ahead and start taking it out on jobs. It needs to be able to haul a bunch of junk, so we're gonna be building the floorboards as well as walls up on the side. But again, today, we're just focusing on the floorboards. And just a reminder, our current channel's net worth is $9,603. So without wasting any more of your time, let's go ahead and build these floorboards. Let's do it. What is up, everybody? I'm back and I got something exciting to show you guys. I got a utility trailer for the business. Now it is the same width as the other one I got, but this one is 2 feet longer. It's not exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to get something a little bit bigger, something that could hold a bit more weight, but this was just too good of a deal to pass up. And after getting it, I realized, you know, I need to practice even backing up with a trailer, so I might as well stick with just a 10-footer. And now if you're curious about prices, I got this trailer for a total of $950. Getting the tax and titles and plates and everything, I actually have the receipt here. Let me double check. I think I have the receipt. I don't know off the top of my head how much it cost, so here's the total of the plates and just transferring the title of my name. And like I said, this trailer does need some work. We're actually starting a new series, the trailer series, where we're going to be doing work on this trailer, updating stuff, cutting stuff off, adding more stuff to it. This will actually be episode 1, and as you can tell, we got a bunch of wood here. We're gonna replace the whole entire floor here with wood planks. Now this isn't necessarily the type of trailer you'd want to do this with, but I'm going to anyway. I'm gonna have a couple issues with trying to do this right because, let me show you. So as you can see right here, and they're also over there, these pieces are welded on here, and I don't have a grinder. These were like little bike racks were hooked onto here and slid in. So on the boards, we're probably gonna have to get a drill out and just drill out the space for these, and so they just lay on top of it. That way we have the board evenly sit throughout here. That part's gonna be a little tricky. I don't know exactly how we're gonna be able to do that, so we'll just have to find out. As for the other thing, I didn't have a good way of attaching the boards to the trailer. A lot of the other videos that I've seen of people doing it, they used lag bolts to push through the board, through the mesh on the bottom of this trailer, and then use a nut to tighten it. Unfortunately, the hardware store I went to when I got the wood, they didn't have any lag bolts, and I also looked up the price on how much they were, and they were just like too expensive for how many I needed. So what I ended up doing was getting 2 extra sets of boards, and I got these exterior deck screws. That way when we put the boards on top, we can also add boards onto the bottom and just screw through the top, connecting to the bottom board. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we're about to find out. I also prejudged the size of these, so you know, I measured all the boards. Right now we have 12 boards. It's gonna take about 10 to get across width-wise. And when I put some of the boards on, it felt like they didn't fit properly, so I might have to shave a little bit off the end. So I got my saw out to do that. Honestly, I feel weird recording outside in my apartment complex, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get of this, but yeah, let's get a couple shots. I wanna show you this in a bit more detail, do a little trailer montage, and that way we have a before shot and an after shot once we actually get this trailer fully completed. And then after that, we're gonna transition right into me putting the deck boards on. So yeah, cue the montage. Alright, so couldn't really get a lot of cool looking angles with this, so it probably wasn't much of a montage. But the first step is I'm actually going to lay all the boards on here, get an idea about where I want them and what pieces would be better and just the way it would look. So let's lay them out first. Let's do it. So I started by just laying them out to get an idea about which ones I want where, and double check which ones might be damaged. Ran into some good things, ran into some bad things. Good thing is I don't think I'm actually gonna necessarily need to cut holes in here to cover up those racks just so it sits even, because they only really leave little bumps, which honestly really don't matter as long as I just screw them in at the top and at the bottom, or the top and the bottom over here. About 3 of the boards I got aren't straight, and by that I mean they're a little bit curved. So you can kind of see it on this one here. It's curved right here on the edge, but it's straight the rest of the way. This board on the end, along with these 2 that are still in the truck, they were extremely curved, so they just did not sit flat. The next issue I ran into is, well, I mean, I calculated for 10 boards to be across the whole length, which is what's here, I believe. Yeah, there's 10 boards, but we have a bit of a gap all the way down the line, and this is one of the curved boards, so this whole side right here is curved. And I don't have a table saw to get a straight line on these. All I have is just one of these normal hand saws, so I don't think we're gonna be able to cover that up quite yet, but I can at least screw down those boards. I'll probably screw all of them down except for the one on the end. That way I can kind of use this excess space, cut 2 boards just so it looks a little bit more even. So I'll probably attach all of them but that one on the end. Now, as you can see here, this is where the edge is, so these all need trimmed down. So I think I need to cut them all to kind of line up with this mesh here. So I'm going to take each of these off one by one, saw off about 1/2 inch, and then put them back. After that, we can take the scrap pieces, the 2 scrap pieces, or 3, because I might just use that other one, and cut those, put those on the bottom, and screw them where I need to screw them. So let's get to measuring and get to cutting. On each one of these, so now we're going to take each one of them, cut them, place them back in their spots. So let's go ahead and do that. And that looks so much better. I cut all of these except for this last one right here because, like I said, we're going to kind of like fix this spot with 2 boards. But now I need to measure for a piece to go on the bottom, find out the best place for it, cut that, and then I can start drilling these together. First, let's move this piece out of the way and make sure we can close it. Oh yeah. Getting somewhere. Now let's find a place to put a board on the bottom. Let's do that. Oops. All right, tested the piece, fits perfectly, got a good spot for it. I have an idea of how I can start getting it in. That didn't sound right. So I can hold the piece up to the bottom and screw one on this board on this side, but then I need something to at least hold it that side up, because then I can go over there and put a screw in that one to hold that side. And that way, then I can just go over the rest of these and put screws in them. I feel like I need to use a drill bit too, so I think I might have to do that first. So let's just kind of mess around with it and see what we can do. Let's do it. Drill through it first with this, at least the top board, hopefully the bottom one too. And then I can use my other drill and put a screw in it, and that jug will at least hold that side up. That way the weight of it's just not gonna break and have the screw come right out. So let's try doing that. We missed the board. So I didn't equate for these 2 inches on the bottom here. So literally straight up just missed the board. I mean, it's holding, but we missed it. Let's try that again. The bit just broke. My bit literally just broke in there. And the board came off. What the fuck? Oh, it's because we hit the mesh frame. Guess I'm gonna have to go from the other way with a new bit, of course. First screw secured. The only thing is, now I forgot to drill a second pilot hole for the next screw, and the bottom board's in the way, so. All right, if you plan on doing something like this, make sure to go slow, because you will hit the mesh in the middle, and it'll sound a little something like this. Once you're confident in your pilot holes, make sure to secure them with a screw. All right, I'm back. It's the next day and we're working on the trailer again. My camera died yesterday, but we did get a majority of the trailer done. As you can see, we got all these pieces screwed in over here. The only part that we didn't get done was this right here, because once we lay a board here, there's about a 2 to 3 inch gap on this side. Even though I measured for all these boards, 10 boards to be equal across, I guess I didn't really think about some of the boards being like bent like this one is. So here's my solution for that. I went and picked up a table saw from someone on Facebook Marketplace for $20, and what I'm going to do is take these 2 boards, cut them long ways. That way these 2 boards are a little bit more even and it looks a little bit nicer, at least on that edge, so it's not one full board and then one really skinny board or a bit of a gap. Because if I have a skinny board on there, I actually can't screw it in, because this has like a 2-inch lip right here. It would be so much easier if I could just take this netting off, but I would need a grinder, and it's welded in so many spots, so that's why we're doing it the way we are. Now this board right here on the edge is pretty crooked down there at the bottom, so when I had these set on there, it had a pretty decent gap going this way on the end. So I'm not sure exactly how well this is going to work, but between that gap, it's roughly 9 inches from the front to the back. So we are going to run these through the table saw and cut them to about 4.25 inches length. I know we do 4.5, but I want some room to adjust the boards and angle them right, just to kind of cover up that gap area there. I don't know how well this is going to work. I don't know how I'm going to really feed these into the table saw very well, but we're just going to give it our best shot and see what happens. So let's plug in the table saw, see how this goes. Man, this is going to suck. Well, shitty $20 table saw picked up this board, was cutting from here, and then it split it right there. To be fair, this already had a crack in it, but I mean, now that all needs, I guess that doesn't need cut off. Flip that upside down maybe. Let's even see if that fits. So as you can see, it doesn't fit. This curved board is really messing this whole thing up, but I'll push it all the way over and we're still like about 1/4 of an inch shy, so I need to shave down this board just a little more. Only problem is this table saw doesn't have a guide rail, so I had to get some seat clamps and use a scrap piece of wood as like a straight line to at least hold the board. And plus, using this to strip like 10-foot long boards is very sketchy, and I'm pretty sure the blade is super dull, but I didn't want to get another one, so I got to move that over like 1/2 inch or so. I will update you when we actually just get this to fit. Alright, we got all the boards on now. This was the broken piece. I flipped it over so it's on the other side. We ended up having to cut another 1/2 inch off of this, and it fits alright. I mean, there is a bit of a gap here, which I'm not too happy about, but you know, that not really much I can do about that. This is my first time trying to put wood on a trailer, so I don't think it turned out too bad so far. As you can see, this board right here is raised. Same with one that's over there. If you remember those brackets that were on here, they're still under there. I was going to cut holes in the boards to make that flat, but I noticed I can just push this down like that and drill another board on the other side of here, which I wanted to do for the front anyway to secure the front boards a bit better. Other than that, the rest of the boards are pretty secured. I'm thinking I might put some more screws in back here and up there as well, where the main board is under to support it. This is just all of our sawdust that we made with the table saw. We got to clean that off, but the first upgrade is pretty much done. I need more wood to get these parts down, and then after that it's pretty much finished. I mean, it's good right now how it is, but in this part right here, if I get too worried about it, I mean, I can get like another scrap piece, like one of the thin ones I got here, and kind of just shove in there. I mean, yeah, I could just break it right here. Look at that, we covered the hole except for right here. I definitely need to secure these front ones though, because when we put walls on it, we're going to use these boards to screw into with the 2x4. But let's get an overall shot here. That looks pretty good. Ignore that gap right there. That turned out pretty good. These are all our scraps here. I can't really use these for anything, I don't think, but I'm gonna keep them just in case. And just like that, the floorboards are pretty much completed. We will be securing the front end of those boards a little bit later on, off camera, but it is the same premise. Drill a pilot hole and then secure it with a screw. But now it's time to run through the financials and see how much we have invested in this build as well as into the business. So let's do it. So starting from the top, we ended up spending a total of $950 on the utility trailer itself. We then spent another $195 to get the title transferred to my name, as well as getting a plate for the title. That way, you know, we can obviously drive it legally. Drop a like if you enjoy cats. Annie. That's Annie, by the way, my cat. And now the final expense so far is the materials. That being the treated plywood we used, as well as all of the deck screws we got. All of that combined ended up being about $170, which I'd have to say isn't too bad for getting some nice deck boards on your trailer. And it only took probably 1-2 days worth of work. 2 days only because I didn't have the right tools. We did also have to get a table saw from someone on Facebook. It was a really crappy cheap one. I forgot to write that down in our cost, but that was also an additional $20. After heading up all of that, our total cost for expenses comes to $1,335, meaning our new channel's net worth comes to $8,268. And with that all out of the way, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can always stay up to date with me in my journey. And make sure to stay tuned, because in the next video, we actually land our first ever junk removal job. So if you want to see that, again, like, comment, subscribe, do what you need to do. Until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.